Tinubu writes Senate seeks new salaries for judicial officers. NLC shuts LP Secretariat, demands Abure's sacking. Federal government to provide student hostel in 36 tertiary institutions. And on the international scene, UK inflation falls to lowest level since September 2021. In sports, Osayi Samuel to escape Turkish punishment. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express on Global TV. We're live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson, now the news in full. President Bola Tinubu has sent an executive bill to the Senate seeking for the establishment of a new salary, allowance and official benefit for judicial officers. The president's request was contained in a letter read by the president of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio. In the letter, President Tinubu said that the executive bill entitled Judicial Office Holders, Salaries and Allowances, Etc. Bill 2024 will generate a new legal framework for the remuneration of judicial officers to improve their welfare. The bill, which establishes a new legal framework for the remuneration of judicial officers, will also ensure significant improvement in the welfare capacity and independence of the judiciary, Tinubu said in the letter. The House of Representatives has called on the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to urgently provide relief materials to communities, schools, and individuals affected by rainstorm in Akwanga, Nasarawa, Egon, and Wamba Federal Constituency of Nasarawa State. The House also urged the Federal Government Relief Agency to swiftly initiate a reconstruction of the rehabilitation of persons affected by the rainstorm. He also noted that the rainstorm, which destroyed homes and schools, has rendered many constituents homeless, disrupted the education of students in these communities, and has put some residents in critical conditions with various degrees of injuries. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has called on the newly sworn-in officials of the Federal Capital Territory Administration not to perform below the expectation of the administration. The minister gave the charge during a swearing-in of the first head of service, permanent secretaries, chairman and commissioners of the FCT Civil Service Commission, Abuja Metropolitan Management Council and Satellite Towns Development Department in Abuja. He says his administration will send those who will fail to perform packing. Kike Lomo Okere has details.
The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory charged the new officials to be committed and loyal, saying that they owe it to President Bola Tinubu to make sure that FCT works. He described the occasion as a memorable day for FCT, urged the new appointees to support the government of President Tinubu in realizing the New Hope agenda, and warned the newly sworn-in permanent secretary against performing below expectation and undue delay of files, adding that there will be issuance of queries for non-performance.
Again, to the permanent secretaries, yes, you have been made a permanent secretary, but you know what comes with it. As a permanent secretary, you have become a political appointee. Did you write the exam to a permanent secretary? So you know the implication of that. If you perform below expectation, there's nothing like query. There's nothing like query him as proper civil service rules. We have no time for that. We'll just send you packing as permanent secretary. So just know it very well now. I say it, I don't want to hear, now that we're heading secretariats, you have your mandate secretaries as a political heads. I don't want to hear that files are unduly delayed.
He further stated that he had directed the reshuffling of directors and the administration will defend the 2024 budget at the National Assembly.
Just recently, we found out somebody who was sabotaging the works of the FCTA. But thank God, all those bad people have all left. All those who don't want you to be independent, who wanted permanent secretaries from the Federal Civil Service, they have all left. But please, We want you to assist, we want you to support the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu to realize the renewed hope agenda.
The FCTA officials were sworn in by the Chief Judge of the FCT High Court, Justice Hussein Baba Yusuf, represented by Justice Sivino Orji, administered their oath of office and oath of allegiance. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
The Edo State House of Assembly passed a resolution directing the Chief Judge of the state, Justice Daniel Okuboa, to set up a 7-man committee to investigate the allegations of gross misconduct leveled against the Deputy Governor, Philip Shaibu. At the plenary, 19 members of the 24 members voted in favor of the resolution. The House of Assembly commenced impeachment proceedings against Shaibu on March 5th, accusing him of perjury and leaking of government secrets. However, all efforts to get the impeachment notice to him proved abortive, as he was said to be out of state. After it became clear that the notice could not be served physically, the House served him the notice on March 12 through substitution by publishing the letter in 3 national dailies. The impeachment move is believed to be the latest development in the rift between Shaibu and his principal, Governor Godwin Obaseki. The Federal High Court in Abuja rejected the bail application by the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. The trial judge, Justice Binta Iyako, however, granted an accelerated hearing instead. Counsel for the IPOB leader, Aloy Ejamoko, had at the last adjourned date urged the court to admit Nnamdi Kanu to bail before the commencement of the trial. Ejamoko stated that Kanu's health condition was deteriorating, adding that his continued detention by the DSS was a threat to his life. Ejamoko also urged that the continued incarceration of Kanu would not enable him to put up a good defense in the matter. But the counsel for the federal government, Adigboyega Owomolo San, urged the court to dismiss the bail application and instead grant an accelerated hearing. He noted that the DSS has a medical facility that could take care of him. Abia State House of Assembly has passed a bill to stop the payment of pensions to former governors and their deputies in the state. It is entitled a bill, HAB 11, for law to revoke the Abia State Governors and Deputy Governors Pension Law No. 4 of 2001 and for other matters connected therewith. It was sponsored by Uchenna Okoro, the majority leader and member represented Arochukwu State Constituency. The Speaker, Emmanuel Emerowa, announced the passage of the bill after its second reading, consideration at the Committee of the Whole, and its 3rd reading during the day's plenary. The governor of Delta State, Sheriff Oborewuro, has briefed President Bola Tinubu on the 16 soldiers that were gruesomely murdered in a Koma community in the state. Briefing State House correspondents after meeting behind closed doors with the president, the governor said that the situation is under control, assuring that there will be no more further attacks. The governor declined to confirm the reports of reprisal attacks allegedly carried out by the military and the number of casualties, saying that being a security issue, there are certain things he cannot say in public. He said that he met with the security heads in Bamodi on Monday, but has been unable to meet with the community involved because the place of the incident is completely deserted. Air Force, NAF aircraft under Operation World Punch OPWP have continued to disseminate terrorists and their logistics, especially in the northwest and north-central regions of Nigeria. One of such successes was recorded on 15 March 2024 when strikes by NAF aircraft successfully targeted and destroyed terrorist logistics storage situated in Falele near Sharuru in Niger State. Acting on credible intelligence indicating the presence of terrorists, weapon coach east of Falele authorization was contained to deploy air assets to neutralize the threat. The operation, which was executed with speed and precision, resulted in significant damage to the target area, including a secondary explosion of arms and ammunition. The weapons are believed to be affiliated to a particular terrorist kingpin who is on the most wanted list of terrorists. National President of Nigerian Labour Congress, Joe Ajero, has called on the federal government to pay the 4-month withheld salaries of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities and Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational Associate Institution. This was in reaction to the 7-day warning strike that SANU and NASU began which grounded university activities across the country. SANU and NASU had for about a month called the attention of the government to its exclusion from the payment of withheld salaries, which it commenced payment for the Academic Staff Union of universities in February. Their salaries were withheld when the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari invoked a no-work, no-pay policy against the Academic Staff Union of universities, and SANU went back in on a strike that lasted 8 months and 4 months in 2022, respectively. Abia State Governor Dr. Alex Oti has approved the payment of bursary awards to Abia State indigents in law school across the nation. The State Commissioner for Information and Culture, OK Kanu, disclosed this while briefing journalists on the outcome of this week's Executive Council meeting presided over by the governor in Umuahia on Monday. He said the approval of the bursary was in keeping with the premium the state government places on education. He added that the state government has approved the renovation of 170 primary schools, which translates to 10 primary schools for local government. Members of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, the Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational Associated Institutions, and the National Association of Academic Technologists of University of Lagos staged a peaceful protest in front of the school's gate. They blocked vehicle movement and hindered the free flow of traffic in the environment. They sang and displayed various placards to register their grievances with the federal government over their withheld salaries. The JOC of SANU and NASU had for about a month called the government's attention to its exclusion from the payment of withheld salaries, which it commenced payment for the Academic Staff Union of Universities in February. Their salaries were withheld when the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari invoked a no-work, no-pay policy against ASU, SANU, and NAT, who embarked on a strike that lasted 8 months, 4 months, and 5.5 months, respectively, in 2022. The Federal University of Lafayette branch of the National Association of Academic Technologists has joined the nationwide 3-day warning strike over the non-payment of 5.5 months withheld salaries of its members by the federal government. The administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari had invoked a no-work, no-pay policy, which meant that the university workers would not be paid salaries within the period they were on strike in 2022. But President Bola Tinubu had in October 2023 directed that the university workers who embarked on a prolonged strike over the inability of the then government to address their concerns be paid 4 months of their withheld salaries. The North Central Zonal Coordinator and Chairman of NAT in Lafayette, Kenneth Onu, said they decided to embark on a 3-day warning strike, which will end on Friday, to express their displeasure over the federal government's neglect of the plight of their members. The Nigerian Labour Congress stormed the National Secretariat of Labour Party in Abuja to protest the party's national convention plan for end of this month. The Congress also demanded the sacking of the national chairman of the party, Julius Abure. The NLC leadership accused Abure of planning to hold a secret convention without the input of major stakeholders. The planned convention has pitched Abure against the NLC and the House of Representatives caucus. The workers accuse Abure of planning to destroy the Labour Party. The Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, has disclosed that 10 persons were killed in an Abuja-Kaduna road crash, while 48 sustained various injuries. This was contained in a statement by the Assistant Corps Marshal and Corps Public Education Officer Jonas Agu in Abuja. According to the statement, the crash, which involved a DAF trailer, occurred as a result of excessive speed, overloading, and fatigue. This, however, caused the driver to lose control of the wheels, thereby crashing into a ditch along the route. The report from the crash also revealed that it occurred at exactly 10:30 and involved a total of 174 people, all male adults. Unfortunately, 10 victims were killed, while 48 were rescued with different degrees of injuries. The Nigerian Air Force NAV has destroyed the arms storage facility of one of the most wanted terrorists operating in Niger State. The military operatives acted on the operation continue to comb the northwest and north central regions of Nigeria to smoke out the terrorists. Spokesman of the Air Force, Edward Kabot, and Air Vice Marshal, made this known in a statement in which he disclosed that the credible intelligence gave away the storage facility of the terrorists. The Nigerian Air Force NAV aircraft under Operation OPWP has continued to disseminate terrorists and their logistics, especially in the northwest and north central regions of Nigeria. The Adamawa State Police Command has arrested 58 suspected criminals after a raid across different locations in the state. The Adamawa State Commissioner of Police, Dakombo Morris, said said this when he addressed newsmen in Yola, the state capital. Morris said the suspects included 40 young men who were believed to be members of notorious group Sheila Boys. 11 of them were arrested for kidnapping, while 7 were arrested for armed robbery. The Edo State House of Assembly has directed the State Chief Judge Justice Daniel Okobowa to set up a 7-man panel to investigate the allegations leveled against the State Deputy Governor, Philip Shaibu. The State Assembly is accusing the Deputy Governor of misconduct and endangering government information to the public. The panel is expected to carry out a thorough investigation into the allegations and make necessary recommendations. The brief sitting was presided over by the Speaker, RT Honorable Blessing Agbebaku. Record that the Edo State House of Assembly earlier this month began an impeachment move against Shaibu, accusing him of constitutional infractions, but Shaibu denied being served with impeachment notice from the State House of Assembly as claimed by the Speaker, Honorable Blessing Agbebaku, during plenary. You're watching News Express coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using at Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. When News Express returns, subsidy removal, federal government, state, local government allocations hit 10.14 trillion naira. This and more stories coming right after this break. Do stay with us. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is Global Television bringing you live broadcast of News Express. Thank you for staying with us. Over now to our foreign scene. A bus carrying students from Top Kenya University collided with a truck on a busy highway after skidding in heavy rain, killing 11 of them and seriously injuring 42, police said. The accident occurred at 5:50 p.m. at Maungu, 360 kilometers, 220 miles from the capital, Nairobi, when the students from Kenyatta University were traveling to the coastal town of Mombasa. 10 people from the Kenyan University died on impact, and another died later in the hospital, police said. Adding that 42 people were seriously injured, the police report said the driver of the university bus was overtaking a fleet of motor vehicles, and as it was raining heavily, the bus skidded to the right side of the road. Britain's annual inflation rate fell more than expected in February. Officials' data showed fueling speculations that the Bank of England will cut interest rates this year. Inflation reached 3.4% last month, a lowest level since September 2021, after hitting 4.0% in January, according to the Office of National Statistics. The consensus had been for consumer prices to rise by 3.5% in February, according to a Bloomberg survey. Inflation remains well above the Bank of England's 2% target. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has said all of Gaza's 2 million people are experiencing severe levels of acute food insecurity. This was the first time an entire population had been so classified. He says when questioned about conditions in the territory, Blinken called on Israel to prioritize providing for those in need. UN agencies have said North Gaza could face famine by May without a pause in the fight and surge in aid. Blinken's warning came during a trip to the Philippines, as U.S. officials announced that he would not travel to the Middle East. His 6th trip of the region since October as efforts to secure a ceasefire continued. An elite unit of South African police has raided Johannesburg, home of the Speaker of Parliament, Mosiviwe Opasa, over corruption allegations. She has been accused of soliciting bribe in return for awarding contracts when she served as defense minister. The police unit was acting on behalf of state prosecutors who have been carrying out an investigation. The statement from Parliament said that the police conducted a search and seizure procedure in Mapise Undakula's residence, adding that she welcomed investigators into her home, cooperating fully during the 5-hour search. The 67-year-old veteran of the anti-apartheid struggle became Speaker in 2021. Before that, she served as Defense Minister for 9 years. And in business, the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Nyesom Wike, has presented the FCT 2024 statutory budget proposal of 1.147 trillion naira to both the Senate and House of Representatives Committee on FCT. Making his presentation before the Senate committee, the FCT minister disclosed that the budget revenue resources would be made up of internally generated revenue, IGR, Infrastructure Support Fund, among others. Kike Lomo Okere tells us more.
The Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, noted that The total sum of fiscal framework comprises of proposed distributable revenue of over 510.3 billion naira and non-distributable revenue of 637,416 billion naira.
We have a fiscal framework of sum of 1,147,780,610,283 naira, comprising distributable revenue of 510.3 billion and non-distributable revenue of 637.4 billion.
Wike, giving highlights of the FCT appropriation bill, says 280 billion naira is earmarked for overhead, 726 billion naira for capital projects, and 140 billion naira for personnel, bringing the total budget to 1.147 trillion naira. He further highlighted some of the projects to be executed from 2024 FCT statutory budget proposal,
which has been proposed for the FCT 2024 statutory budget after due deliberations with all the revenue generating agencies of the FCT, also taking into consideration the parameters highlighted in paragraph 8 above. Now, when you compare the revised 2023 appropriation of the sum of 641 billion, there's an increase of the sum of 506 billion, which is 44%. In the 2024 statutory budget proposal. The increase is as a result of the expected loan from the commercial bank since we have exited from TSA in the sum of 500 billion.
Presenting the budget before the House of Representatives Committee on FCT, Wike listed some of the critical projects to be executed by FCT administration in 2024 statutory budget proposal to include completion of roads B6, B12, construction of access road and car park for Abuja Light Rail Dede Gwagwa Station, Lot 5, full scope of development of area road from Northway Park to other Northern Express. He also said there will be provision of engineering infrastructure to Guzapi, provision of engineering infrastructure to Wuye District, extension of Inner Southern Express from Southern Way Park to Ring Road, full scope development of FCT Highway, among others.
It's important to note that the FCT statutory budget is mainly funded from the 1%, from the proceeds of the 1% of the 52.6% of the statutory allocation of the federal government that comes from the federation account, and also internally generated revenue and other sources as contained in the revenue fiscal framework.
Chairman of the House Committee on FCT, Honorable Aliu Betara, and other members of his committee assured the administration of their unwavering support, charging him to look at revenue generation and Area Council IGR. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
The Super Eagles star Bright Osai Samuel could be handed a possible 5 to 10 game suspension following an altercation with a pitch invader during Fenerbahce's clash with Trabzonspor. The Nigerian may escape a ban by the Turkish FA. The brawl broke out after the final whistle as Bernik celebrated his 3-2 win. Security forces tried to shield Fenerbahce players as fans stormed the pitch. Following the match, Turkey's Interior Minister Ali Yekilaya confirmed that authorities had launched an investigation into the brawl and to identify the fans who had stormed the pitch. As we end our Global News Express, let's take a quick look at our top stories again. Civil Rights Senate seeks new salaries for judicial officers. NLC shuts LP Secretariat, demands Abure's sacking. Federal government to provide student hostels in 36 tertiary institutions. And on the foreign scene, UK inflation falls to lowest level since September 2021. And in sports, Osai Samuel to escape Turkish punishment. That's it on News Express, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times channel 276. Can you follow us across all social media platforms using our Global TV NG and our handles now showing on your screen. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.